Another suggestion that I might make for you is and this is like last resort. Okay, if it's a compare and contrast, and you can't think of any other examples, if you take the same two examples and you explain how they're similar, and then you want to explain how they're different, but your analysis is different, in actuality this may be different. Like, that's last ditch effort. If you have nothing else to do and you have like 3 minutes left and you can't think of any other examples, then move those same two terms down, and then talk about how they're also different in this way. I mean, if you can come up with other terms, that would be fabulous. I'm just trying to give you some stuff if you're stuck and you can't think of anything else. All right. Treatment of indigenous people. Oh, we talked about that. Key difference is the frontier of inclusion and exclusion. As I said there, if you use the term frontier of inclusion or frontier of exclusion, you must explain what you mean. Yeah, that's it. There's the Equator. Lastly, origins of slavery. Know the factors that led to the expansion of slavery. In the Spanish and Portuguese, we see a decline in Indian Native American populations. We see a rise of sugar, which means we need labor. In the English colonies, we see slavery. In the Spanish, they rely on natives. And then what happens to the natives? They died from diseases, so they're gone. Kurugen, should we do the work ourselves? No, you crazy person, I'm a man. Someone else is going to do it. Okay? So the imports African labor. In the New World, who's doing labor in some parts? Some parts. I'm sorry? Yeah, indentured servants. Oh, but then economies in Europe change and indentured servants run out, so who's going to do the labor for us? Oh, I guess we could do it ourselves, or, even better, have somebody else do it. I'm seeing a similar. Labor systems here. Social aspects. Like, with each of these, you have enough knowledge to do this, okay? You have enough knowledge to do this using the limited stuff that we've gone over right now. The most important thing is picking a good question, brainstorming terms and themes that relate to it, and then making your structure for it. Then all you have to do is dump all that knowledge down on the piece of paper. Okay? So I've given you a couple examples from past questions from Area 1. Compare and contrast, compare. It's as if there's two types of Americas. Okay? Do you have any questions for me? So, what I would do is, I don't know. Maybe, okay, here's what I'll do tomorrow. I forgot this. I'll go through the review sheet for, do you have a question?
Oh, well, you do.
I'm going to pull up, here is going to remind me to print up a list of all of the terms for your second semester review. So then what you can do is for each of the units, you can pull out a couple of those terms, and the whole point of this is you get to show what you know. So for each of these, if you learn 6 or 8 terms, rock solid, you should be able to apply those to at least one of those 5 questions. Do you get what I'm saying? No, okay. So I'll give you a list of the terms, because you want to go in there having some deep knowledge about some of the items and then apply that to the questions that they've given you. Okay? So I'll give you that list so then you can make flashcards or at least study some of the terms related to each of these units. Questions? Hamza?
You mentioned the Farragut packet. Can you post that on?
Okay. Yes. It was. I called it something else. I called it where we. It was a doc. I think I called it like a comparison document or something like that. But all on the front page of my HA1 webpage, I'll make a. I'll post these documents there, so all you need to go to is mrdrouin.com and then click on HA1, and then I'll have like a little box down there at the bottom with a panda with a gun or something like that. HA2 or something like that. Okay? Question, Kelso?
Do you get brownie points for citing scholarship and documents?
They're looking at the rubric that they use is not exact. They essentially grade like the evidence that you use. Are you using evidence appropriately? Or do you have enough detail that you show you know what you're talking about? How is this candidate analyzing their evidence? So it's not like there's a bonus point section where, oh, they mentioned wood. But what that does is it shows a depth of knowledge that can help you. But again, it's about basics. Okay? And then if you can add on to that in your conclusion, then you're probably good. But brief introduction, 2 sentences, your thesis. You need a thesis. First arguments, example, evidence, analysis. Example, evidence, analysis, brief transition. That it's the exact same structure that we've been working on 2 years. And do not just throw it to the wind, because if they can't follow your ideas, then it's going to seem loose and you're going to lose points all over the place. That structure is crucial for them to understand what you're talking about. Questions, comments, concerns, quips, queries, quotes?
How old do people generally do
What? What? Hey, look, it's the HA2 students. They're gonna.
Are you having them learn?
I'm trying to. I haven't tried yelling at them yet.
Learn hard.
Okay. I don't know. I don't think they give us scores about individual aspects, so I'm not completely sure. I don't know, and a lot of it depends on the questions. It depends on the questions. The single best piece of advice I could give you is make sure you don't write about Hitler. Any other broad questions for you, Mary?
So when they give you the list of questions, it doesn't necessarily have to cover everything you've learned.
No. All you need to do is answer the question and show them that you have a depth of knowledge.
No, that's what I mean. Like, you won't have necessarily a question from everything you've learned.
No.
So if you learn like just one section, you can't necessarily have a question on that one section on the test.
Ask that one more time in a different way.
Well, for example, if I decide, okay, I just want to learn how to compare Latin America and North America, and then I go take the test, and there's just not a question on that. Would that happen?
No, there is definitely going to be a question, but each unit is there should be a unit on colonization, and there's going to be different questions about. Am I answering your question, or am I going?
Sorry, Bernard.
Oh, I was telling themselves.
There will be a question. No doubt in my mind, there will be questions comparing Latin America with the Americas. The question is going to be will it be focused on government, or will it be focused on social systems, or will it be concerned with economics or labor systems? So there is definitely going to be questions. There always is, because that's the purpose of the course, is comparing those. There's very few instances where it just asks for knowledge about Spanish colony. It's usually compared because they want to see you have an international perspective about the history of these two continents. But going with that is some of these connects. Like if you know about slavery, these are economics. Social slavery and economics are all kind of wed together. So I'm saying you're learning. If you know about encomienda, you can apply that to different questions.
I think the other thing she was trying to say is that, like,